exposing the strength and vulnerability and shattering the silence around men's mental health. We're two guys creating a space where men can talk, support, and uplift one another. In a world that often misunderstands us, we're here to break the stigma. Join the conversation, empower yourself, and let's redefine what it means to be a man. This is the Untamed Truth Podcast. Tune in, speak out, and let's grow together.
The illusion of perfection. Perfectionism is a self-destructive and addictive belief system that fuels this primary thought. If I look perfect and do everything perfectly, I can avoid or minimize the painful feelings of blame, judgment, and shame. Bryn Brown.
Unrealistic expectations, the pressure to be perfect. And here lately, when we started this podcast, I was just like, hey, we're going to get on here, talk about some men's issues. And I wasn't really thinking a whole lot on it, but I got to deep diving into some YouTube stuff and some of the social media around it. And I seen how well some of these videos are put together. And I actually made an unrealistic expectation of myself because I don't have the video qualifications to do it.
The skills.
I don't have the skills built up.
Skills right now.
And I actually put pressure on myself to try to be perfect. And like the YouTube video that I did have made for us, I like it. I think the first part of it, I like it. But at the same time, I hate it because it's not what I have in my head. Because I have an unrealistic expectation of making a video for our podcast that I don't have the skills to do.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
And, to be perfect,
He's using air quotes. Just
air quotes. I'm like, oh, I'm on video. No, yeah. Sometimes I forget that I'm just talking, and that's all you can hear.
Yeah.
But perfection, perfect, flawless, no defects.
I don't think it really exists.
It doesn't. We're all flawed.
Yep. And the first part about, dealing with trying to be perfect and trying to make yourself feel perfect is to not set, and now this is going to come off kind of stupid, not set boundaries that are unobtainable. You know what I'm saying? Not set a goal that there's no way you're not going to reach it, right? But then the dreamer side of me, the hopeful side of me, the optimistic side of me says, hell no. I'm setting that goalpost so high that nobody can reach it, and then I'm going to climb for it. But you can't set it so high and then go climbing for it, and if you don't get it in the time that you want to get to that spot, then just completely give up. And that's what I've done for most of my life with things.
But I mean, the big goal, the big dreamer goal, like I do big dreamer goals all the time. I do have a problem with that, and I have a problem with trying to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because I'll get meticulous on things, and I just go overboard. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure you sent me 7 different videos for the first video because you're like, no, I don't like this. I'm gonna change it a little bit.
Oh, I sent a ton.
I was like, dude, I don't see that.
I didn't like that, and then I'd send you another one. And you're like, that looks good, and I'm like, oh, I didn't like that, and then I go back, retake, and then I'm like, okay, I can get by with this. Yeah. Okay, I'm fine.
Just like the audio.
I just have to stop.
The audio, you were like, I don't like this, and I bet you recorded that audio 40 times.
Which one?
The
intro?
Yeah, the intro. You recorded that audio 40 times.
Well, that was what I sent you.
Yeah.
That wasn't even what I had on my computer.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I took I can't tell you how many. I spent hours just doing the intro because I'd listen to it. Nope, don't like that. And then I'd send you one and I'd be like, well, I kind of like that one, and I'll send it to you. And then I listen to it again.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no.
Well, I think we do that with a lot of things in life, not just stuff like this.
Yeah, but with your goal, it's okay to have a goal that's real that you may never reach. I always do goals like that, but you gotta take a step back and actually set smaller goals to try to reach your goal, because it's the process and the journey that matters.
Absolutely.
It's not always the end destination. It can always change, but you gotta set back and think. What is achievable with my skill level, and what resources do I have to meet those goals?
Yeah, and what can you do to get
in a realistic time frame?
Yeah,
and then you revisit those goals.
And you try to address your skill set and evolving that into something better than what you had before.
And then maybe I can't hit those goals at that time. I couldn't hit it in the time frame. maybe I need to look at getting better skills. Maybe I need to learn this, learn that. Maybe I need to set it out just a little bit more. But I like goals with time crunches in them a little bit, because that kind of makes me do it.
So you don't procrastinate on it.
Yeah, rather.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, because if I got a long goal, like if it's like in 3 months, like, oh, I can do this in 3 months, I just kind of put it off, and I'll go do something else.
Yep. Something that gives you that satisfaction of now that's done. Oh, I did something now. I do that a lot. If there's something I know I can't get done in a timely manner, I put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off. And then finally I'll be like, ooh, well, I can do this, and it'll make me feel like I did this, but I didn't get it done yet. Little small baby steps, but like you gotta revel in those wins. See, you gotta get your beep out for that.
Yep, here we go again. But I tell you, man, and one of the big problems I think is like social media, man. Like, it's everywhere, and like you see all the, like, you get all this like fake. You get these fake videos. You get fake lives.
All the stuff that's just altered with computer.
You get like images of people with like nice cars. They don't even actually own the cars.
Yeah, they rented it for the video. Yeah.
And then you got people on YouTube and other places. They're like, oh, well, level up your game, and then they show like they're making millions of dollars doing this and that.
A Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, the one right now that's really big is AI. Well, I'm making like cash, and they got cash. They're wads of cash. And it's like,
it's not even real money. It's printed fake shit.
And it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so accessible with people, and like especially with AI right now, where you can create images. Like, they're creating all kinds of stuff, which some of it you can look at it and be like, oh, that was AI generated.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And even something as simplistic as, so for me, I've always been a big guy, right? I've always been, and not just a big guy, but I was like severely obese for most of my life. And I guess I'm still considered obese, whatever, I don't care. But like the body image, like, do you remember that bod spray commercials on TV?
Oh yeah,
dude. Like, nobody I ever knew looked like that, and I was like, man, one of these days maybe I can. And I was fat as crap. I was 500 pounds in high school. And there's no way I was ever gonna look like that. But that body image. You talk about ruining a man's body image, and it's the same way for females. I'm not taking away the fact that it's been worse for females with the body image thing. Because, I mean, look at the Pepsi commercials back in the day with Cindy Crawford.
Well, you got all those magazines. Back in the day, it was magazines all everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you got the car magazines.
Yep. You got all these things that are for, different people, like, that show these things that everybody wants to get.
And they were taking images of people and actually doctoring them.
Yeah,
to make them look even better.
They have been since the dawn of technology.
So then you look at that and you try to mimic that, which brings up the perceived failure, because you never actually get to that point, and then it gets in your head.
Now I remember as a young adult, like, my goal was to make $100,000 a year. Right,
yeah.
That was my goal. That was like, after I got married and had my first kid, I was like, the goal, like, to make us happy as a family, I need to make $100K a year. And then all of our bills are paid. We'll have a decent car that we can take anywhere whenever we want to go, and like have a nice house and all of these things. And then, like, I literally never even made it to $100,000. The most I ever made, but let's say the most Uncle Sam knew I ever made, was $70K a year. And like, that was comfortable.
Which around here, most people make about $40K to $50K.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Yeah.
There are people that make a lot more, but for just an average everyday person around
the median,
here,
but
40 to 50,000.
We have Toyota now, so that median has rose. Like, so now, from what I read, it's not been in the last 6 months, but what I read recently within the last year is that moved from 40 to 65.
Yeah, but national average is 50.
Average, but I'm talking about around here, like Kentucky wise, like where we're at.
Yeah, I was just giving an example of where most people are. Most people are 40 to 50,000.
Yeah.
There's only so many people that work at Toyota that get paid that.
But one factory raised it up in Kentucky, because I mean, that's a huge ass factory.
Yeah, I mean, like around here, factory work is
pretty much all there is, really.
Yeah, there ain't a whole lot. Well, I mean, there's a lot more, but like
for a normal person with not as much education, not
a lot of
4 or 5
not a lot
degrees.
Not a lot of skills. You just general worker.
A skilled labor is a different story completely because
But I
being
mean-
a plumber and an electrician. And
But I
shit
mean,
like that.
all of that creates inadequacies, and self-doubt.
Yeah, because what if you're not making 100K? What if you're still driving a beater? And now you're making 70K a year, and you're driving a car that you paid $300 for, which is what I did for a long time.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of people deal with say this word for me,
Anxiety,
stress, and depression.
Pint has trouble with that one word.
I do not know why.
I don't know, because you've said it like when we're talking normal.
I say it.
You say it,
and then,
you say it fine, but then we start recording. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, I just can't say it. I don't understand.
I didn't even know what that really was for the longest time. Anxiety. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I know, but I didn't know. Like I knew.
No, I was asking the question.
Yeah. Anxiety.
Did you hear me? I said it that time.
Yeah, you did. See, and it was because we're normal talking. We're not trying to.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
Maybe it's where I think about, like, if I see it,
about it,
because I glance because I got notes.
Yeah.
And when I glance at it, I don't know. I think it's the way it's spelled.
But anxiety, I didn't even know what that was for a long time. And like now that I know, I've been dealing with that kind of like anxiety my entire life. Like I was like, holy crap, this is what anxiety is.
Yeah.
Because I explained it to somebody one day, and I was like, man, I just feel like I'm kind of floating above my body. Like I'm just so out of touch with my own, like what I'm thinking. I'm just like watching myself. And they're like, oh, you mean you have anxiety? And I was like, huh? They're like, yeah, that's a form of anxiety, man. Like you need. I was like, holy crap. I was like, I didn't even know that's what it was. But I remember once I figured out that it was anxiety. I remember when I was young, right? Like I knew, like I'd get in trouble at school. Like I remember the first time I got an F on a report card, and I knew my dad was gonna kick my ass. I knew. I was like, I'm dead. I was like, I'm dead. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna absolutely kill me. Like I got an F. He's gonna freak out. Well, all day at school, I felt out of my body. All day, and that's anxiety.
Yeah,
I didn't know that's what it was, but I've been dealing with that since I was in 6th grade.
I dealt with it when I was littler, but like as I got older, I don't have a lot of anxiety. Like, so for the most part, it's I don't know, it's on a small scale.
Yeah,
I guess I kind of figured out how to deal with it a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of get nervous, but I don't really have an
anxiety attack.
Yeah. Like if I think about the word, like I just can't say it. It's
funny.
I don't know why. But I mean, like, you got unrealistic expectations from other people. Even relationships.
Well,
even yourself. Like I do it a lot. Like I set unrealistic expectations on myself all the time.
I think anybody that longs to do something better than what they're doing does that though. But I think there needs to be a healthy way for people to approach that situation. You know what I'm saying? There needs to be, like you were saying, like set small goals. Have those dreams, but then set achievable goals that you can achieve, let's say, once a month. Let's say, so like one of the things with our show that we've said is that we would like to have six, which is a month and a half,
right,
of shows ready to drop. In case you're sick for a week or 2 weeks, or I'm sick for a week or 2 weeks, or whatever, so that the show can always be dropping on Fridays like we've planned it. So like that's a realistic expectation, and we're literally today will make us one show ahead of schedule.
One show
will be after today will be one show ahead of what we plan to have,
right.
And we've done this in 3 weeks.
Yeah. So yeah, like. Setting that's good, but like we also revisit it, and we go back and we're like, hey,
yeah,
because time schedule like is crazy, especially with you got the kids. I got a lot going. I got a lot going outside. I'm trying to learn to do more YouTube video stuff.
We're spending a lot of time studying that and the analytics of it and the marketing side of it and all of that.
Man, there's a whole lot to it. Like
there's so much to it. It's insane how much there is to making a video that can get views. Like it's insane. The things you were showing me, like I was like, dude, this is how this has become. Like it was just I'm gonna drop videos.
Yeah. See, I like when I was doing it and thinking about it, I was like, I'll just create a catchy title. We'll do a little thumbnail, drop it. And then, the more you dig into it, like there's a whole lot more that goes on with it.
Yeah. Like just being viewable and like having it to where if somebody types in a keyword, it pops up and brings it up. Like that, I didn't even know that part of it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I did the whole research and stuff on it, like trying to figure out a lot of it.
It's definitely crazy.
But man,
but I think we give ourselves anxiety about some of that stuff by setting unrealistic goals and not setting milestones for those goals.
But I also think at the same time, you got to be self-accepting and recognize your own value, because that's one thing I had a hard time with. And it wasn't till like a couple years ago that I had actually I started working on myself. Once I started working on myself, like a lot of people don't do that.
No, most people don't.
Most people don't work on themselves.
They become people pleasers, and they try to make everybody around them happy, thinking that everybody else is happy is going to wash off on them, and that's not how it works. That you can hold that down for a while, like soaking in everybody else's aura and taking in their energy. You can I mean, that can sustain you for a while. But if really on the inside you don't love yourself. And I'm not talking about the simplistic of I get up every morning, I feed myself, I drink water, I live. I'm not trying to cause myself self-harm, but I just go about my day. I don't care if I'm happy, really. I just get up and go. That's not loving yourself. That's being in survival mode, I think. And I don't know if that's technically the correct term or whatever, but I feel like that's what people live in.
So, like, I got into the point to where I was just zombie mode, drone mode, going to work, just...
Been there.
I couldn't tell you what I had for lunch, breakfast. I couldn't tell you what was going on throughout the day.
The days run together.
And I couldn't even tell you what day it was, what month it was. Like, it's just another day.
You look up and it's been a year and you're like, holy crap, what did I do this year?
I got to that point, and one of those days I woke up and I said, I don't like this.
I'm done. I'm tired of this shit. Yeah.
I don't like who I am right now. Yeah. I just don't.
And that's the first step.
And that's when I started changing everything. Yeah.
And it's not easy to come to that realization because, how old were you? You said a couple of years ago?
Just a couple of years ago.
So you were in your early 30s? You're 35 now, right?
38.
You're 38. So you were, let's say, 32 whenever you figured that out.
Something like that. Right around 30.
Okay, so you've spent 30 years in your own skin and you don't even realize that you don't like yourself.
Well, I like myself up till a certain point.
That's what I'm saying.
And then I got into these jobs and it was just going on. And then, so like in the workplace itself, these managers and owners and everything, they were dropping workloads that was for like 2 or 3 people, and they want one person to do it,
and pay you one salary to do 3 people's jobs.
And their expectations are so high,
you can't reach them,
that you can't hit it. So then you feel like you failed at work, and then eventually you just start being a zombie. Yeah,
and my favorite is the Friday pizza party.
And then, oh yeah, pizza party. Like,
it's gonna make everything better. Have pizza on us. It's like, dude, get out of here. Like, we're killing ourselves with this crap.
Get this. So our job, the last job I had.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was actually pretty nice because they used to cater in meals, and they wouldn't do just the pizza party. We would actually have meals catered in, like nice meals.
Really?
Yes.
They did a food truck for us once, which was really cool.
And they did the food truck thing. They did. They would do those little ice cream cone things we used to get as a kid.
Yeah.
They had one of those trucks come in. Like, I didn't even know they were still around.
I didn't until you just said that.
I haven't seen one in forever, but there's one out there around this area.
Really? That's dope.
And then, they would do like all kinds of stuff. Like for Thanksgiving, you would get a turkey.
Yes, we did that too.
For one of the other holidays, you get a ham.
Christmas, we got a ham.
Christmas, you got a Christmas package. Like you would actually get like a 1 year we got like a basket full of stuff plus the ham, and they gave you a $25 gift card on top of that.
That's nice. Like a Walmart gift card or something?
I don't remember where it was to, but I think so, something like that.
That's cool.
And then they gave out a little stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
They had like some candy and stuff in it. But
see, that's more than most places do.
But I was like, it was so nice. But then, down a little bit down the road, they started just doing a pizza party every now and then,
like every quarter or something.
And then, if that,
really,
yeah, like there was times that we had to ask for it just to even get it.
So they did it for us, and you know where I worked.
Yeah.
They did it for us. We had 7 days we worked straight.
Right.
So 7 12-hour shifts, and 7 12-hour shifts really corresponds to 7 14 or 15-hour shifts, because you never get to leave when you're supposed to. You have to be there an hour early, blah blah blah, whatever. So you're thinking 15 hours a day. You
Yeah.
travel back and forth, whatever. But on those 7 days, on the end of the 7th day, we always had a pizza party. So we always knew it wasn't really a pizza party. They just fed us pizza for our lunch.
Right.
And you had your normal lunch, which was 30, if 30 minutes maybe. So you got 30 minutes to eat how many ever slices of pizza you can stuff down your gullet, and then right back on the press.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of how it was. But like it's so much different. But like once it went to that point, like it was all of the like you didn't feel like you're worth as much.
Yeah,
the way that they do it,
you don't feel appreciated at all.
Because like before, when they're getting like I'm not saying they have to give you nice things,
not
and
at all.
stuff,
But it feels good.
But you felt a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Than getting a pizza party every now and then. And it's like...
And then you have to complain about that. Like, hey, are we getting pizza this week? Or are you guys going to douche out on us again?
Yeah.
I mean, during COVID, it really got bad where I was at. Because we never shut down for at all. Not even a day.
We didn't either. We worked the whole
time. It took
time.
a fire that destroyed an entire $1 million press for us to get a day off during the... And that's not a joke. And it was literally a day. They had 2 shifts miss after a major fire. Like, I'm talking an entire press caught on fire. Like, it was insane. There was 1 full day of shutdown. And there was still all of the managers and all the higher up people. They were in there helping clean up this fire.
We shut down in Kuwait for 1 day, and that was when it first hit.
We didn't even do that. Not even a day.
And we only took 1 day off, and that was when it first happened.
Yeah.
We had one case, and then a couple other people got it, and they shut it down to have it cleaned. One time.
We were required to clean every day.
Like, well, we were required to, but when it first hit, the thing is everybody goes home. They isolated the people, and then they had a cleaning crew come in and clean.
That's insane.
And like we actually ran, because the way our plant was, we had 2 different sections. So what they did is they blocked off one section, and that's where they were cleaning, and then the rest of the plant worked.
Yeah.
So like only part of us got off. So it wasn't actually.
Yeah. Made you feel even less appreciated.
Yeah, I was like, really?
They're talking about this bug that is so bad for everybody, and you're going to block off a section of it and clean that, and then leave us over here working, knowing that it spreads in the air.
Yeah. Like
that's going to help a damn thing.
Yeah, it was crazy. But another thing that I started doing, so get back on topic. I started challenging my negative self-talk, because in my head, I'm very hard on myself on things, and like if I mess up or I'm not getting something the way that I want it, like I'm very hard on myself. But I'll stop myself, and like I do a count to 10. Like, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but
no, I mean, if it works, it works.
But I'll be like, man, I'm just giving myself a really hard time. Like, I notice when I'm doing it, especially anymore, where I've started doing it for so much. Like, I stop, close my eyes, I take the deep breaths, I breathe out. I start doing some breathing.
It's like meditation.
Yeah, I do the meditation stuff. Like, I did meditation when I was little, so that's just a natural thing for me to go back to. And then I count to 10 while I'm doing it. I let out a really long breathe out, and then I go back to doing whatever.
Yeah. Sometimes, for me, I get frustrated on at things I'm doing. Like if I'm doing something I've never done before, especially now. What sucks now is like I go back and I look at how I was capable of doing all of these things prior to going blind. Now there are things I just can't do anymore. Like helping somebody put together something like a Lego set that my kid just got.
Yeah. I
can't see the pieces properly. And like without having it like right up in my face, like right here. I can't see it. So it's like, Dad, can you help me? I wish I could, buddy, but I can't see what you're even doing. I can't. So there are so many things that I've had to accept that right now and maybe forever now, because I don't know if my eyes are going to get fixed. I don't know, and the doctors don't know. They don't know if they can fix it. And she said it could be, before I see any improvement at all, it's 3 to 5 years.
Oh, that's going to be a while.
Oh, yeah. And I've been 6-8 months on this journey now with 15 plus surgeries, and it's still not. If anything, my vision's gotten worse because of all the surgeries. And now I'm so light sensitive because of all the lasers. Like, I can't even see a white background. If there's a white background on the computer and there's words, like, it's just blurry. I can't see it. unless I take my glasses off and I put my nose on the screen and get that close. Then I can read it. It's ridiculous, and that's why I have my phone to be able to read stuff. Paper is a problem. Like, I have to have Jonah read stuff to me because I just can't see it. And there's a lot of acceptance I've had to come into and accept that right now, for me, I have to accept the fact that there are things that I can't do anymore. So I have to concentrate on the things that I can do.
Well, I mean, that part's hard, especially where you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real hard thing to do.
Oh, it's so frustrating. Like, we put the dryer together, like the hose came off the back of the dryer. I can't see the screw on the pipe for the lint trap. I couldn't see it. Jonah had to do it. And then he gets frustrated, and then I'm like, I should just be doing this for him, and it really makes me hurt on the inside that I'm not doing something and just saying, Jonah, give me a screwdriver.
But do you know that, like, if you think about it, because this is, if you think about, like, successful people, like, they don't do everything.
No, they do certain things.
So they do certain things that they're good at and they can do, and then you get help to do something else.
But as a man, it's hard to accept that help. It's really hard to, know yourself enough and be confident in yourself, like and like this, the acceptance, unrealistic. Yeah, the unrealistic expectation we put on ourselves is most of the time is the thing that destroys us from the inside the most. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if we set these expectations and we can't uphold to them and we don't get even close to reaching those, then we destroy ourselves on the inside because we can't.
Yeah, but maybe that's where you can put in like a growth mindset.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many things now that you can do
where challenges or opportunities to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And develop.
That's what I'm having to do. And I think we do it every day.
Like, I know it's hard to accept help, but like, everybody needs help.
And that's the next podcast. That's what we're gonna have to do. Yeah, something on that.
We'll do that
for sure.
But like, everybody needs help. So I mean, even successful people. Like, I mean, just think about it. Like, when I was doing a lot of the growing and deep diving more into myself, learning about me, because like, I like who I am now. Like, I have more room to grow.
Absolutely.
We all have room to grow. But
you stop growing when you die, and that's all.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's true.
And then, but I started looking at successful people, right? And it's not just them alone. They build a team around them to help them.
Everybody is surrounded by good people that become successful. People that knew more about things than they did.
So then, like, my team, like, especially when I'm trying to grow myself as a person, would be like my friends, my family. People that'll be supportive and not be negative. Anyone negative in my life, I try to cut out. And you have to
grow. You have to cut out the negativity. You have to.
Like, I love my family, but if they're negative, I don't have much to do with them.
Well, there's boundaries you set. There's boundaries you set with those people, and there's nothing you can do about it. And when you set those boundaries and you stand on those boundaries and you say, look, this is where I draw the line. You're not going to step over this line, and if you do, then we're going to have a problem. I'm going to distance myself from you, and I'm not going to talk to you. You're not going to be a part of my life anymore. And I'm not saying that's a permanent thing, but until they change their mindset on something, then that's what you have to do to protect your own inner peace.
Well, I mean, you got to keep your boundaries no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. But with family, a lot of times, and me, I'm guilty of this.
No, I mean, even with family, you still need to keep your boundaries.
Absolutely. But myself, until the last couple years, I let those boundaries be just trampled on. And it's not saying anything bad about my family. They love me and they want to be around. They want to do, they want to do whatever it is that I need help doing. But I had to, for my own mental health, I have to set boundaries. And I didn't even know how to do that. I didn't know how to set boundaries. And I definitely didn't know how to uphold, this is my boundary and this is where you're not going to cross. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That was one of the things, one of my biggest growths in my entire life is setting boundaries and saying, look, no. This is not how you're going to talk to me. This is not how I'm going to allow you to make me feel, because that's what you want to do to make you feel better. I don't care what you need to do to make you feel better about any situation. I have to protect my peace and my boundaries so that you're not washing off your negativity and bullcrap onto me.
And when you're setting your boundaries, you need to be clear.
Absolutely clear.
In relationships.
In everything. Yeah, every
Like,
relationship, romantic, friendship, family, all that. It has
like
to be.
you need to be clear on what your boundary is, and this is not something that we cross. And and that's one thing, you gotta stick to it, because like
Absolutely.
you can't let people go over the boundary. If they start going over the boundary,
They'll take it all the way.
they will take advantage of
100%.
it, and they just keep going and on. And
Getting closer to the edge and closer to the edge, and you have to say, hey, step back. This is what it is.
And there are some people that you just have to go, okay, you keep crossing this boundary, I'm done.
Yeah.
We're done.
And you have to do that to protect your own sanity.
But I mean, it's some of them it's hard to do, man. You know, I mean, it's hard to do with some people.
Yeah. But the expectations that you set and the boundaries you set for those things, you know, you have certain expectations, and you have to uphold that. Because if you don't, you're only going to make yourself worse. You're only going to make yourself, you know, sad or depressed or stressed out or whatever it might be that's, you know, that you're trying to deal with.
Yeah, I'm just saying that some people, especially like people that are really close to you, it's hard to do. And that's just,
it is hard to do.
That's an obstacle that you're going to have to overcome but you got to do it.
Just setting a boundary itself is sometimes hard to do.
That's what I'm saying, especially with someone that you're really close to, that you love to death.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to, when you're, you know, improving yourself, to set a boundary on someone like that this is where it is and you can't cross this anymore. And I don't know, like someone that you really care about, it's a difficult situation.
But it's so worth it in the end. You know, getting through that and getting past that can honestly bring you closer with the person. Because, you know, they know then, well, this is not a boundary that I'm going to cross anymore. And if they're willing to accept the consequences, you know, of me not being your friend anymore or whatever it might be, then you didn't really need those people in your life anyway.
No, you didn't need them. Like, if they keep doing that, no,
Yeah.
you don't need them in your life. You want to surround yourself by positive people that's going to uplift you.
Yeah. And that's a whole other podcast, the positive people and cutting out the negative people and the toxic people that are in your life, like the people that only call you when they need something. And
yeah.
You know,
well, that's probably comes back to practicing self-compassion and prioritizing your own well-being.
Yeah, absolutely, because a lot of people don't prioritize their own well-being, and it's sad to watch somebody live their life, and I did it for so long, and I think that's what hurts me so bad, is like I see people that are literally, they're just a shell of themselves trying to be happy or portray that they're happy to everybody else, and it's like, if they're not happy in their own skin, then are they really ever going to be happy anyway?
So what I realized from a few years ago, because I, like, you know, going through, I'm a happy person. I'm okay with myself. I'm doing well. And then I got to that point where I was a zombie, and I was like, I don't like myself. Like,
Yeah.
I have become something that I don't want to be.
Yeah.
And at that point was when I started doing the self-care, and I realized if I love myself, I can love others.
Yeah.
But if I don't love myself, it is hard to love others and let others love me.
Yeah, so my question is do you think that anybody ever, like, do you think that's learned behavior, like trying to love yourself? Because I don't think anybody ever like comes out the womb and is like, hey, I love me. I don't know, because I don't know anybody that's ever just always been, except like super conceited people. I think those people came out like, oh, I'm the shit.
Well, I mean, I loved myself growing up.
I don't think I did. I don't know what that's like.
I mean, like who I was and what I was doing. Like I've always been the person that when I want to do something, I do it.
Yeah.
And that's just how I am. Like I'm the type of person that if I think I want to go to Florida tomorrow, I'm going to go to Florida tomorrow.
Yeah.
If I'm going to, and I've always had boundaries that I don't let people cross. So like I've had that all, you know, from when I was younger, and maybe that was a learned thing. I don't know. Maybe you pick up a lot of it when you're a kid. Like a lot of problems come from when we were kids.
Oh, absolutely.
And we
That's a fact.
learn a lot from, like, that was from a lot of the research I've done. Like, it starts back then and we just carry it. But the problem is no one, I won't say no one, but like most of us, even myself included up until like a few years ago, we don't work on ourselves
Yeah.
to better ourselves.
I think I started that. I started trying to work on myself when I was in my 20s. After the cocaine era, let's call it that. I definitely had to do some soul searching because I hated myself my whole life. I just hated who I was. I hated my outward appearance. I hated everything about myself. So I don't know what it's like for somebody to just always be like, I like me, because I never liked me. I was never comfortable in my own skin when I was young.
Yeah, I was fine. Like the only thing I didn't like was I was a little overweight. Well, it says that I would say that I was overweight. I was a little
chubby.
Yeah, like I mean,
chubby.
I wasn't fit, but I wasn't fat.
You was a thick boy.
I was like in between.
Yeah, no, I was always fat.
I mean, like my stomach, I didn't have an overhang or anything. I had a little bit of
a little chunk.
Little
chunk too. No, see, I
didn't like that, but like doing the unrealistic expectations, like you see all these buff guys.
And
man, I work out. I would work out.
No, I only worked out a few times in my entire life back whenever I was young.
I didn't know what I was doing, but I worked out. And then like a lot of it has to do with your food intake, but like that's a whole nother thing there too. But like growing up, I didn't have a problem with me.
Yeah. See, I never in third grade I wore a size 38 in pants, and I wear a size 34 in pants now as a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
So
like
if that tells you anything. Third grade. How old are you in third? Well, Jude's in third grade. He's 8.
Yeah.
So at 8, I was wearing a size 38 in pants. So I've always been big, not just a little chubby. I was a fatty.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably when I was really, I don't know how young, but I was younger. I was in this is like elementary school.
Yeah.
So I rode the bus. I was a pretty nerdy kid, which I'm still a nerdy guy, but
yeah. I mean, I've always been. So that was another thing that I didn't embrace, because I've always been video games and Ninja Turtles and all that stuff, but I didn't embrace that until I was old enough to be like, look, dude, I don't care if I like these things.
Well, like
who's to say that I'm not allowed to like these things? I can like whatever the hell I want.
Like most people, if they see me, they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But like when I was in elementary school, I was really nerdy. I was that little nerdy kid, and there was a guy on the bus that would bully me, like pick on me and stuff. And then I don't know, dude. Like one day he picked on me. I remember this day. Like I met him like later on down the road and said something to him, and like he
wouldn't say nothing.
No, he wouldn't say nothing, and he acted like it never happened. But I remember that day like it was yesterday. I was sitting in my seat. He came up and was picking on me, and I don't know what happened. Like something flipped in my head, and I reached around, grabbed him by the neck, pulled him down, put him in a chokehold, and I told him, I was like, if you ever pick on me again, I was like, I am going to. And then I said something in the aspect that I was going to really, really hurt him.
Yeah. I think I know what you said, but we can't say it on YouTube.
And then
basically you was gonna beat the brakes off that boy.
Oh wow, yeah, I don't. And like, dude, like this, you got to imagine, like this kid was a lot bigger than me.
So to put it in perspective, Pint, right? How tall are you now as a grown ass man?
Now I'm 5'6".
Okay, he's 5'6". So in third grade, you were probably not even 3 foot, 4 foot max. Third grade.
I mean, I was kind of average height.
Yeah, but you were still a little guy.
I was still a little guy.
Pint's a little guy. He's a little fella.
Back then, I was like real skinny.
Yeah. Well, that's like Jonah. Jonah was a beanpole when he was little. And then
so like.
Then the bug hit, and he got a little belly.
But I don't know what happened, but that day, like something just, I don't know, it like.
Well, you were tired of taking the bullshit. That's
like
what happened.
A light switch flipped in my head, and when that happened, like you could see it in his face, like, oh my gosh,
I can't do this no more.
And I would from that day on, nobody would bother me.
Well, that's what I've told Jonah. I was like, dude, if you keep letting people pick on you and push you around, you're gonna have trouble for the rest of your life. I was like, if you set it in stone that you're not gonna take anybody's shit anymore, like people will leave you alone. They'll be like, no, he ain't gonna just talk about it. He's gonna throw hands. And that sounds stupid to say that, but that's just how it is. Whether they want to say there's no violence, there's no this, there's no that, dude, get real.
Well, like, there's no such thing as a safe place.
No, there's not, and they want to act like there is. There's no safe spaces except the space you make in yourself.
But like I don't say fight. I mean it happens, but like because where I did a lot of karate, right? So I was always taught you don't fight. You know,
You defend
you want to avoid fighting at
all costs.
At all costs.
And that's a last chance, scenario.
Yeah, the last thing to happen is you actually fight.
Yeah.
But I mean, it happens. Like, so going through middle school and high school, like some of my best friends were guys I fought.
At school?
No, we didn't fight at school. It was outside. We were playing. Things got you know how when you're playing things get a little heated.
As a child, your emotions start.
Then like you're arguing and stuff. We end up fighting, and then it was over. And then
Been there, done that.
Then we're cool, you know.
But that's how it used to be.
I mean, it wasn't like we were beating each other to a pulp or anything. We just had a little bit of a scrimmage.
Yeah.
And then we were friends.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like we were best friends because we got it out.
That's how it's supposed to be, though.
And then there was one guy. He said I was messing with this girl or something. I didn't even know that,
who she was.
Yeah. But like he wanted to fight, so we ended up fighting because I couldn't get out of it. Like I was like, I don't even know who you're talking about. And like, but we ended up fighting and then like become best friends. it was weird, but yeah, like back to the subject though, because we going way off bunny rabbit.
Well,
here.
I mean, it all like everything is conditional for setting expectations for yourself. Like me, I'm too old to fight now, so I'm not fighting anymore. I'm just gonna I'll take matters into other ways. I got a baseball bat, you know what I'm saying? I'll just smack some upside the head if I have to. Something that I pride myself on now, and I probably shouldn't because it's not easy for anybody, is being, finding freedom in my own authenticity. Like being unforgivably Chad. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times some people can't take that because like everybody knows already that's listening to these episodes, I'm a blurter. I blurt stuff. And sometimes I don't even think about what I'm saying before I blurt it, but that's just who I am. And as much as I try to tame that and try to make it to where it's a positive things that I blurt, sometimes it's not, or it's perceived as not.
So there's only certain things that I actually stop and think about. For the most part, like I will talk about whatever, and you're gonna get straight out whatever I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But there are certain subjects that I pull myself back on. But it's not because I want people to like me. It's because if I was in other people's shoes, I wouldn't want people saying certain things in a certain way.
Absolutely.
So that I'll pull myself back on stuff like that.
I don't even do that most of the time.
But, being cool with who you are and working on that, like, I don't know, man. Like, I just haven't had a problem with that aspect of it.
Yeah, and that's something that I always dealt with is because I was always, when I was young, early teenage, 12 to 15, let's say, 12 to 15, I was around some people and, like, literally, like, everybody in our little circle looked up to one person, right? Like, and everybody tried to conform to be that one person. And I was never cool with being that one person because I wanted to be me, but like there were things that we all did in this circle that was a kind of a way to mimic that one person. You get what I'm saying?
See, when I was younger and I seen anything like that wasn't something that I liked because the way I seen it was you had the one person and then everybody else was just sheep around them. Is what I seen it as. And I
always hated that, but that's something that we all did unknowingly, really, just because we spent so much time together in our circle of friends.
I never really did that because I had what you would call the goth friends, the nerdy friends. I had the preppy friends. I had the redneck friends. Like I was all over the place.
So was I. But I'm just saying,
because I never followed one circle, but I always did me, and I've always just done me. Like whether the group wants to do what I want to do or not, I go my own way. If y'all want to follow me, fine. And like a lot of my friends will do that. And I'm not saying that I won't go do stuff
that they like
that they want to do. It's just like, but it's if I don't want to conform to that, I don't conform to that. Like I have my own thinking, and I'm going to follow my own thinking. I'm not going to follow someone else's thinking. But at the same time, I'm open-minded.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about when I was a teenager and I didn't know shit about shit.
I am too. I'm talking about when I was a teenager. This is how I was as a teenager.
See, I wasn't as lucky as you.
And
I didn't get that. I didn't necessarily conform, but there was a certain group of people and we all did kind of the same thing because we were all poor white kids in a trailer park, and we were just all good friends. So it wasn't necessarily a conforming, but it's just we all kind of, not on purpose, I don't think at the time, we all kind of were into the same music. We were all kind of into this, so we all kind of acted the same way. So it wasn't a conforming, it was but you like this, I like this too. But I mean, I still had my shit that I liked that they didn't like. I still listened to country music, and all of them were like, oh man, nobody listens to country music. I was like, bitch, I love it. I don't care.
And like, you know, your parent, like at the time when you're younger, your parents are trying to instill certain stuff into you and have you go certain ways and stuff the way that they think you need to go.
I don't know anything about that. Because my parents didn't do that.
Well,
they were just like, get good grades and don't be getting in trouble with the law. That was the only thing that, if I did that, if I wasn't on the radar of the police, then guess what? They didn't have a clue of what I was doing. My parents were in the absolute dark.
Let me tell you this about my parents. I was over 2 neighborhoods from where we lived, and they knew what I was doing.
No, see, that never happened with my parents. My parents were workaholics. So, like, I came home when I wanted to. After the age of 13.
Well, I mean, my dad was gone a lot.
Miles away. Right? And they still knew what you were doing.
And he still knew what I was doing, and I was a couple neighborhoods over.
My parents had no idea.
And I'm like, how do you know?
Because your parents would talk to your friends' parents and stuff, I'm guessing.
I guess. I don't know to this day. They never told me, but
my parents
I was like,
I was
like, I don't understand. How did you even know that I was there?
Yeah. See, and that's you know, my parents were just always gone, and they knew that I was safe-ish, I guess. I don't know. But I literally, they were in the dark about, when my mom first saw me smoke weed, my senior year, we had a big prom party, and we were down here at this farm, and me and the friends were passing around a joint, right? My mom was like, Kenny, do you see him? He's smoking weed. And my dad goes, yeah, I figured that. And my mom's like, oh my goodness, can you believe that? And my dad just got in a circle with it. It's like, it's kind of dumb, but, you know, he knew, like, because he was a pothead. He knew that I was doing, you know, that's what kids do back then. Now it's worse. Like, my kids will probably never touch anything because they're just like, oh, that's stupid. Like, we don't like it. We don't like what it looks like for you to be that kind of person because they've been through some stuff, you know. But back in the day, my parents had no clue. No idea.
We need to get back on topic.
Absolutely.
Because
we were bunny trail for 2 days, dude.
We went way off.
But it's okay. I mean, we're just talking about our experiences and what it's like to be our authentic selves, you know? It's not like it's that big a deal.
And then when you talk about something, like, I like, that's when I come up with, like, stories.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know we tried to do that one where we were doing stories. But, like, dude, like, when we're talking about stuff, that's when I really hit the stories.
Yeah.
And, like, on a normal basis, just trying to come up with a story, like, I go, like, my brain goes, beep.
It just blanks out, yeah.
And, like, someone just pulled the plug on me. That's just how my brain works for some. It's like, I don't understand. And then get this. So, after we did that show, I mean, yes, I'm going off topic for a minute.
Yeah.
But after I did that show.
You remembered something that you got embarrassed about?
Oh, I did.
Oh, man. Well, look, save it. Did you write it down?
No, I didn't.
You need to write it down while it's in your mind. Make a note right now so you can write it down.
No, I just remember doing that, going home, and dude, like, I had so many that I was like, oh my gosh, like, I could talk about this, about that.
It's funny.
And I do that, like, even this one. So, like, even this one, like, I'll be like, I'll go home, and I'll be like, oh man, I should have talked about this. I should have said that. I should have said, and that comes back to my perfection part. And then I'm wanting to take this whole episode and be like, hey man, we need to add some, you know.
Yeah.
And that's just the perfection part of me coming out, and like, it's hard to turn off.
Yeah.
But one thing that I have started doing, I write a lot down.
Yeah.
Or like some of that stuff I don't write down because I'm like, I'm never going to do it. Like, if I'm never going to do it, like, I don't write it down.
You don't bother with it. It's like, wow, I'm not going to do anything about this. So.
And then, but I'll think about it for a minute, and then, you know, I take it in my head and I go, hey, okay.
You need to just set a realistic goal.
And then I go, let's get back on topic and let's do what I need to get done.
Yeah.
And
so
that's just a thing for me.
We've touched on a lot of this stuff that we wrote down. Self-compassion, like establishing boundaries, growth. We talked a lot about growth, like where we've come from with this stuff. So
one thing I'd like to do is challenge people to challenge unrealistic expectations in their life.
Absolutely, because you are the one that sets your expectations. You cannot allow anybody to set an expectation that they expect from you. You have to set your boundaries and your expectations, and you have to make those obtainable for your own self-care.
And then I want them to embrace the beauty of imperfection.
Absolutely, because here's the thing. There's so much awesome that's in. So think about it this way. There's a Japanese, like, I don't know what it's called. What do they call those? It's not a parable, but it's a thing. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
In Japanese culture, well, I'm about to explain it to you.
Okay.
So in Japanese culture, when they break a pot, let's say they break a teapot, well, they repair that teapot with gold.
With gold.
With gold. They repair the teapot. They
real
put
gold?
The teapot with real gold.
Huh.
They put the teapot back together with real gold so that they can see, look, this is where this broke. And this might be one of those parable things. I'm not sure. But I've seen this multiple times throughout my journey to find out who I am and trying to, I want to say perfect, but I'm not going to ever do that. Trying to reach a goal for myself that I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable in this skin and I'm comfortable where I'm at. Now that I'm comfortable, I want to help other people be comfortable the way I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so they repair broken pottery with gold. So when you see one of these pots, and when we make the video for this, I want to find one and put it up on the screen. Like I want to put it up in the video for YouTube so they can see it. So it's like, so imagine a teapot, and let's say you drop it and it didn't break all the way, but a big chunk broke off of it. So they will put that back together, and then the cracks, they will fill the cracks in on the outside, not the inside. They'll fill the cracks in with liquid, with gold. They'll melt it down and they'll fill it in with gold. So you can see the crack, but it's filled in with a fine metal like gold. So there's beauty in that crack now. Do you get what I'm saying? And that goes right along with what you were saying. Find beauty in the imperfections.
Yeah, that's interesting though. I didn't know.
You need
they
to look
did
that up, dude. It's really cool.
I
I thought that was a cool concept to fix the broken stuff with gold.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's just got me like dumbfounded.
Yeah,
Isn't
that crazy? I don't remember where I saw that, dude, but I love that, and I've always, I don't think I've even ever told anybody about it, but
because that's interesting.
It's awesome.
Like, because I do a lot of research all the time, but I never read across that. That just blows my mind.
It was
though.
definitely a parable or something I read on something. I don't remember. I saw something like it might have been that I saw a picture of a pot that had a bunch of cracks, but the cracks were gold, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" I was like, "That's pretty cool."
But but the gold thing, that's just,
it's insane. Well, gold has a really low melting point.
Yeah.
So you can melt it into ceramics that's already been kiln fired, and it won't mess up the ceramics. But then you have this gold, and then they polish and sand and polish the gold,
Yeah.
and like it's smooth and like it's supposed to be. It doesn't have a weird thing, but the cracks are filled with gold. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. So that just popped in my head. I remember that when you said.
Like seriously, like my mind just went mind blown.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a big deal with finding the beauty in imperfections, because just because there's an imperfection, it doesn't mean that there's not amazingness that can come from an imperfection. I've messed up so many times in my life, but it's never about how many times you mess up or you don't reach the goal or you're not perfect, because there's nobody that was perfect. There was one. Anyway.
But I mean, a lot of successful people, embrace perfection, and I mean that's almost all of them.
Yeah, but here's the thing: we only see what they portray in the open. We don't know what they've went through.
No, I'm not talking about them people. I'm talking about like your Einstein and
no way, dude. Einstein was absolutely not perfect. Einstein literally, like, there's so many things that he talked about that he wanted to do better about.
And then
we have put him on a pedestal and
so then you got like
claimed him to be perfect.
So you got like the Tesla guy.
Elon Musk.
No, Tesla.
Nikola Tesla?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then you got I couldn't remember his first name.
Yeah, Nikola.
And then who it wasn't the guy that invented the telephone, it was the other one. Is the one that got credit for it.
Benjamin Franklin?
Was it Benjamin Franklin?
I'm pretty sure he's the one that created electricity, but he didn't really. He's the
one that marketed it.
He's the one that marketed it.
And then he got credit for it, like him.
Well, Nikola Tesla was also a person that literally did a lot of things, but he never got any credit for it in his lifetime. He got credit for it later after people were like, oh, so all of these people, including Benjamin Franklin, stole his ideas.
Yeah, so like, I mean, like, you see successful people like
look at Vincent van Gogh.
Like they might not have been successful like
in their lifetime,
but they are successful people that we look up to.
Well, look at Van Gogh. I mean, do you know any stories about Vincent van Gogh?
Well, most of the people that do paintings or drawings, they aren't famous until after they die.
Absolutely, because Vincent Van Gogh was a hot mess. But look at the Starry Night. Like, that's an iconic image that everybody and their mom knows exactly what it is. Like, you can't say Starry Night without knowing who Vincent Van Gogh is.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so I think we hit pretty much everything we were talking about. So you want to wrap this up?
We did. You guys prioritize self-care for yourself. Figure out what you need to make yourself feel good, because at the end of the day, making yourself feel good and knowing who you are is absolutely going to be detrimental to you having a happy and successful life, no matter what.
And then I'll say that setting realistic goals
Absolutely
for yourself and revisiting them.
Yep. And keeping those a priority.
Something that you can actually achieve.
Yep.
And celebrate your wins.
Because really the only person that can set an unrealistic expectation for you is you.
So follow us on the socials.
Yep. We appreciate
Comment,
you guys.
Share, like, subscribe.
Do all them things, you guys. We appreciate you guys turning in. If you need anything, you got our email, you got our socials, hit us up. If you need somebody to just talk to, we're here. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks for tuning in.